Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by The Sky Lounge and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, and Jesse Moffitt Entertainment. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations and has been recognized by the Sioux Falls Stage Awards with a special distinction for promoting the arts. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome, everybody. So great to have you along, and thank you for listening, no matter when or where you do. I am grateful for the opportunity to bring you great arts and entertainment conversations in the Sioux Empire. For those of you that are not familiar with the Sioux Empire, it's the metro area around Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which goes into 3 different states. It's South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, a little tri-state region, and we enjoy it. It's good living here, but don't take my word for it. Take the word of many thousands that have been coming here. So, when I grew up, I remember a population sign for Sioux Falls being 80,000 something. Now it's over 200,000, so stop. We like it here by ourselves. No, we would love to have you. Anyway, what we'd love to have on you on this show is to hear about all the great things that take place on episode number 122, when they said it wouldn't last. Those conversations that I mentioned include image consultant Sheila Anderson in just a few minutes, and then later in the show, from the Insiders Band, songwriter Ray Pearson, and the newly acquired drummer, who just happens to be an old friend of mine, Darren Matthes.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day in your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
All right, lift 'em high, no matter what you're drinking. Would determine the type of glassware you might be using, or maybe it's just a plastic tumbler, who knows? Maybe it's a red Solo cup. I'm not quite ready to toast to spring, but what I will toast to is daylight saving time. Forever! I happen to like it because it's grilling season. In fact, the Firefly Oasis will have a new grill arriving this weekend. The ironic thing is that daylight saving time is not the actual time. It's an hour ahead of what would be beginning of time. So a second toast to the fact that we'll be an hour ahead the rest of our lives, or at least until the government changes their mind. The Weekend Eve Toast has been brought to you by Ale Hop Brewery Tours. You know, it's March Madness. That continues yet for another week and a half or 2 weeks maybe. But in downtown Sioux Falls, it is Mash Madness, your chance to vote for the best local brew. Here's a unique, fun, and safe way to enjoy Mash Madness. Book a private tour with Ale Hop Brewery Tours. Let Jason drive you in that very groovy van, baby. Ale Hop Brewery Tours will take you to any or all of the participating craft breweries. And if you book a tour on alehopbrewerytours.com, make sure to use the promo code MASHMADNESS22. And 22 is just the numeral, so it's MASHMADNESS22 in the numeral style, and get 10% off your tour for the rest of this month. Ale Hop Brewery Tours, where micro fans meet micro brews. Honorable mention. Midtown Coffee Radio Hour live recording is tonight at 7 in the back alley of the Commons on the lovely Augustana University campus. Now, since I'm a part of that show, I highly suggest you take it in, obviously. It's a very nice ticket price. $12 is what it's going to cost you. The podcast calendar's been mighty full of late around here, so I didn't get a chance to have any fellow castmates on. But despite me, it's actually a great cast. And tonight's guests include fellow podcaster Local Lou, who was just a blast to be around. She's going to talk about some Sioux Falls and South Dakota history. And the amazing Eric Miller will be on acoustic guitar. It'll be a great show, no doubt about that. And we've got a very good lineup for you the rest of the way out here, because we happen to have image consultant Sheila Anderson coming up in just a little bit. And then later on in the show, it's songwriter and keyboardist Ray Pearson and drummer Darren Matthes from the Insiders Band. It's all ahead on the Dave Holly Hour.
Sure, they have darts, and you've heard me talk about how ruggedly handsome the trivia host is, but all caps fun never stops at the Sky Lounge and Tea. And fun is best had with your friends enjoying live entertainment, as in live and local. Yeah, the Sky Lounge believes in giving you the best bands, solo artists, and comedians from the area. The Neo Johnsons, Elizabeth Hunstead, Skylar Volks, as well as many others. And a great staff will make sure you enjoy your fun at the Sky Lounge in Tea, South Dakota. Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself, too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
He's a bit flirtatious, but most of all, fun. Here is Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everybody. I know I get to be a broken record, but it's just so fun to always say it that it is always a pleasure to talk arts and entertainment and culture here on the Dave Holly Hour. And today, it's a first-time guest. First time I have met her in person, and you're going to have a blast with her, too. Sheila Anderson, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So happy to be here and meet you for the first time.
Likewise, yeah. We've been friends on Facebook for a while, back and forth. And then one of the last times, you said something about, hope to meet you in person someday. And then our mutual friend chimed in, Roberta Clemens, who was your husband's cousin and is one of my best friend's mother. And she goes, well, I know David.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is a small world. That's true.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially in South Dakota.
No doubt. Yeah, even more so when it comes to this area. That's for sure. Wanted to have you on anyway. And then this just made it a great excuse to get together. The reason I wanted to have you on is you are an image consultant. You're an author. You have been with the SME and so forth. So you've got a lot of things going on. And one of the things that I love to talk about is branding and image. And you are top notch in all that.
Well, thank you. I have enjoyed my time as a, personal brand and corporate branding and helping people look and feel their best so they look and feel confident wherever they are.
How did it start for you?
I kind of take it back to like growing up. Mm-hmm. So how things appeared aesthetically mattered to me, from, rearranging my bedroom to putting outfits together from a, really young age. So I'm very artistic, by nature. I just kind of say I've been an art chick at heart forever. I think I was born that way. So,
in fact, weren't you a graphic design in college?
I did. I majored in graphic design. So this was kind of funny. In my sophomore year of high school, I went to my mom and I said, hey, I want to be an interior designer. And she said, well, I'm not sure how much money you can make. You might want to think of something else. So I said, well, okay, graphic design. So that sounded fun to me because I remember, growing up and you're passing, the road signs and all the, coming into new towns and you see all the new road signs. And I remember like looking at road signs and not maybe really remembering the message that they said, but like how they laid it out. Like, why did they pick that color? Look at that picture they used. So, it was interesting to me, but, And then like the early 90s, I've always, had struggled with my weight my entire life. And kind of felt less than a lot of times. And so I just really kind of became my own art project and tried to figure out how to put myself together because I was creative.
I relate to that very well, having one time weighed 420 pounds. Yeah. And it's just, it's tough. And I know that there's, things that you do to make yourself look better, to feel better. One of the things that despite the weight, and at one point having a size 54 waist, was I always prided myself that I was going to look good and be groomed well, smell good, and make sure that I wore my pants where they should be worn.
Yeah.
Not under a big belly and so forth.
That's right.
And so that was always kind of my gift to myself was, okay, if you're going to be big, at least be the best looking big guy there is.
Well, because it does, clothes do send a message to your brain, right? How you feel and set your mindset up for the day and everything. So, at that time, I was happy being a plus size. It wasn't like okay, you have to lose a bunch of weight to look good. I'm like, how am I going to dress my body and feel better? That I'm presenting my best self, right? No matter what size I am. And so I think that's, I'm happy I went through that because it's so relatable to so many people. And, I've walked that walk.
Yeah. And
I have been there.
I'm so happy to see that we have a trend now of more body acceptance.
Absolutely.
And that people of plus size can have a great body image. And therefore, because of that, have a great self-consciousness and, be inner beauty as well and let the inner beauty come out at the same time.
Yeah, because, growing up, it wasn't that way, right? I had cut out pictures out of all those magazines and taped them up all over my wall. And that made an impression of what I thought the perfect woman should look like because I looked at those pictures every day hanging on my wall and that, formed this warped opinion of what I thought was beautiful because that's what society thought was beautiful. That's what the magazines put out. And shame on them.
I've recently dipped my toes into doing some stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And over the weekend, I was thinking, as I was headed to an event, wasn't performing, but I knew I was going to run into some friends. And one always compliments me. And so I was thinking, when he compliments me, what do I want to say? And it made me think of a new bit that I could do for comedy. And that would be, those awkward years where you're overweight, you've got some zits and all this and so forth, and you're so worried and you don't think you're good looking. And I'm going to say, but if I'd have known at 59 I was going to be this ruggedly handsome, I never would have worried.
That's true. Sometimes it takes us a while to embrace that. Which is
very, very true. But everything's going to be okay.
That's right.
And I'm glad, like I said, that society's getting a little bit better of acceptance of people of plus size,
Absolutely.
And it's great to see it in TV commercials now too, because I think they were kind of the last bastion of being able to go, maybe we should represent all people. Yeah, so thank God for that, that's come along. All right, so when it comes to branding and image, what do you like to do for a company or an individual? A small business, a big corporation? What is it that you want to go in and just knock them dead with?
Yeah, so this is where I start with people, whether it's corporate branding or personal branding, it's coming up with that brand personality. So if I were to ask 5 of your closest friends what words come to mind when they think of you, what would they tell me?
Oh.
And if I were to ask a complete stranger that just meets you, like, hey, what are some words that you would use to describe this person that you've just met, just looking at them visually or interacting with them just for a few minutes, what are those words you think they would tell me? And sometimes it's easier for us to think about what are those words you never want used to describe you. And most people haven't given it that much thought. So I always say that you are the chief experience officer of you, right? Being with you should be some type of an experience and leave people yearning for more of you. So if you think about whatever those words or those brand personality words that you want people to use to describe you, that's where you can start building your brand. And so how you communicate with people, what your marketing materials look like, how you put yourself together, if you're a corporation, how your executive leaders or your whole team treat people has to tie back to those words. So if maybe you're empathetic, right? So that has a certain look. There's certain colors that showcase more empathy. There's certain font styles that, have a little bit more nurturing to them. So, and the words you choose, how you put your website together, just how you present yourself, different clothing styles can say nurturing or compassionate. So, that's where I love to start with people, and it gets people thinking. And then, ask other people, ask some mentors or leaders in your life or family members or friends, and just start gathering, like, how am I coming across? That just gives a good pulse. I call it check your BP, check your brand pulse with people, to do like a BP check once a year. Am I coming across the way I want to come across? And have some type of strategy. I think that's where people, if there's something they don't do, they're not very strategic about it. They just, they don't give it much thought how they're coming across. But have some type of strategy, because if you don't, you risk people forming an impression or an opinion of you that may not be accurate. And it's easier for you to to guide that versus trying to clean it up.
I have heard of, the 5 people that you ask, what they think of you that are friends. I had never thought of the other perspective. I like that twist of 5 strangers. If I'm going to ask 5 strangers, what would they say about me? That is a big clue as to how you come off first, which I'm sure helps a lot of people once they've understood this when they go into a job interview too, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes. And it's good to learn. If you're going into a job interview,
isn't it like the first 7 seconds or something? The opinion's been formed.
Yeah, that's it's not even that long anymore, Dave.
Really?
Right? It's milliseconds.
Wow.
And with today's world being so virtual, we Google people before we meet them. So be really careful what you're showing up, how you're showing up online. Be strategic about it, right? Have your LinkedIn profile filled out, and it doesn't. I think in today's world, we have become more relaxed on, the clothing that we wear to the office, right? And especially in the Midwest, it's much more relaxed, and people accept that more than, being on Zoom or virtual calls. People accept it a little bit more, but you still need to put yourself together, right? You still need to show up for the day. You're still going to work, whether it's online or in person.
Yeah, and we took Casual Friday to mean the entire week.
Absolutely. And you know what? Everybody's definition of casual is different. We understand.
Precisely.
Right. We understand what business looks like, business dress. We all get that. We all can, we can picture that in our mind. But if somebody says, okay, the event or the corporate dress code is business casual or casual, everybody's definition is different. And people have such a hard time defining that. And then we have like the dress for the day is a dress code. Well, everybody's like, well, what does that mean? If I'm meeting with this type of client versus this type of client, can I dress a little differently? But if you just know your style, it's so much easier, right?
True.
How you show up. You're going to show up consistently. People are going to start, experiencing you the same each time, and that's what you want.
Yeah,
right?
There was a time in my life where I sold men's suits. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So casual to me was a pair of khakis.
Yes.
And I'd go to an event and somebody would say, boy, you're dressed up. So there's a great difference, no doubt.
Some people have a really hard time dressing down. And, just as many people that have a hard time dressing up, there's a lot of people that have a hard time dressing down.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Can I just take the tie off or just roll up my sleeve, and that's as far as I'll go, right? That's dressing down.
It took me a while, but finally I accepted that jeans are now the casual. In fact, for many, probably even the dress.
Yes.
It's that part of them. So what do you suggest for individuals when it comes to their style? We talked about what you should find out in terms of your image by asking the friends and so forth or the strangers. But what about when it comes to style and how they dress, how they appear and come across to everyone? Yeah,
I think it starts with what are their goals, right? What are their goals for their career, for them personally? We talk through that first. So we kind of have to assess what's going on internally and how clothing can help them, right? Clothing's a tool. It's just a tool to help send a message, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's 7 universal styles that I teach or that I talk about and that I've been trained in. And so each style sends a message, but there's different assessments that I kind of go through. And, each style, one's very casual, very friendly, focused. They don't like to dress up very much. It's hard for them to dress up. There's one that's very traditional, very businesslike. There's one that's very sophisticated, very elegant. There's one that's very nurturing and compassionate. And there's one that's very creative, artistic. They put everything and anything together and you think, wow, I would never think of wearing that, but somehow it works for them, right? We've always seen those people. And there's some that, charismatic dressing, right? Magnetic, right? Attraction dressing. And then the other one is very bold, very dramatic, very high fashion. And so, depending on their goals and their body shape and lots of different things, just their body features, we figure out which style fits them best and for their brand that they want to, portray. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like, hey, I'll just look at you and say, well, this would be great. This would be a great color for you. Well, it depends on the message you want to send, right? The whole color psychology is crazy. That's a whole other episode, right?
All right. So this is pretty typical for what I wear.
And I love your style.
Oh, thank you.
I totally do. I think you have...
What would you call it?
There's some creativeness to it, right?
Okay.
Because you enjoy wearing... when I see you dress like on social media, it's always fun.
True.
It's a little creative. Mm-hmm. You're not afraid of wearing color.
No, not at all. Right,
which I love that in men. So it's not super safe, right? You like to have fun, and that's who you are, your personality, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pretty well nailed it.
Good.
Yeah. However, I have been doing the vests a lot lately, mm-hmm. And my wife and I call it the Iggy look. There's the TV show New Amsterdam, and one of the doctors is named Iggy. And he always has a vest on with a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, we're doing the Iggy again.
It's a great alternative to a sport coat or a suit. I love it. Yeah. It's adding that third piece, which adds way more interest to your outfit.
Very true.
There you go.
All right. So if you take away nothing else, add the third piece.
Add the third piece because most people don't. I'll just say 2 pieces is not an outfit.
Okay. Easy way to put it. So this is a show about arts and entertainment.
Okay.
And obviously, the way people dress is an art. Uh-huh. There's no doubt about that. And we see art all around us. But when it comes to you going out and seeing, live performances, obviously there's going to be costumes that are being on stage because the costume director's done that. But when you see people going to those, or you see a band that's performing, and I think they would be an easy one to pick on because, they've all got this kind of rock star mentality as to what they need to look like on stage. What are some things that you see, and maybe some common mistakes even,
that I see performers make?
Yes, when it comes to how they're portraying their image.
Yeah, I think, this is kind of a deep question. I think there's not being intentional, right? Sometimes I feel like they just put on, I'm going to pick on country music a little bit. Okay. I love country music. That's my favorite genre, right? But a lot of the guys are just like jeans, a t-shirt, and boots, right?
Seems to be the flair of late.
Seems to be, but it's not a way to distinguish themselves, right? It's not distinct. It's not a way for them to set themselves apart from everybody else. So I think sometimes people will just start looking like everybody else. And that's not what, I think they need to distinguish themselves more. Right. So, and I see that more so maybe in the male singers versus the female singers, but I see a lot of just the T-shirt, boots, and jeans, which is fine, but and
the trucker cap on backwards.
Yeah. See, now you just nailed them. We should be a team.
We can do that.
We can be a fashion team.
We'll do that.
That's right. We can have Dave and Sheila's top 10 list.
As you're talking about country artists and not distinguishing themselves. See, one of my favorite of all time, the late Charlie Daniels, and I was fortunate to meet him one time. And when he passed away, all the different pictures that were on social media and so forth, and I kept one because it's like, that's Charlie. It was this royal purple, long sleeve Western shirt, but not any big scrawls or anything, and a white, big cowboy hat. And it's like, that is an image. And that's one that sticks with you, too. You see something like that, and you go, that's cool. I might not be able to pull it off, but by God, he could,
Right. And he probably, obviously, probably had those custom done.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
That's a way to distinguish as well. Like have something custom made or, branded to you. Maybe you do always wear purple or pick a color or whatever it is.
Well, I do wear purple and burgundy a lot. See, my theory is that burgundy is the one color that goes with everything.
It does.
It
goes
really
with a lot of
does.
things.
Yeah. And people don't understand that. What do you mean? It's like, oh, come on. Think about it a little bit here, kids. Put it with navy. That looks good. Okay. Put it with black. Hey, that's nice. Put it with khaki. Oh, put it with olive. Wow. I never thought of that.
Yeah. There you go.
So,
see?
Burgundy. That's the way we head.
We're a team.
That we are. So how do you describe your own style?
This is good. Charismatic. I would say
definitely.
I would say there's charisma there. There's a magnetism. There's some sophistication, and some more.
Definitely. All right. So we want to get back to the entertainers and so forth. Basically, we're all living off social media now for our advertising purposes. What can you help us with in that regard? Because first of all, there are a ton of people in this community that do make their living off of their art or their entertainment. And then there's a lot of people that are wanting to get to that point, and they're busting their hump to be able to get to that point. And then even the people that, just maybe it's a little hobby, play once in a while or something, they still want to be more proficient at it. What are some key things we could be doing in that regard?
Well, I think, so regarding social media, you have to pick which platform makes sense for you. Some people, if they're maybe they're some type of designer or whatever, it's more visual. They're going to want to show up more on Instagram. If they're, if they need to do a little bit more videos, short clip videos, they're going to use YouTube more. So I think pick your platform, and that's going to drive how you're going to market yourself. But again, being consistent, making sure your graphics all look consistent, look professional, not homemade, using kind of a consistent color palette, and just pay attention to what you're posting and own a hashtag. I think people forget about that. Own a hashtag.
That's my fault. I am bad on that one.
Create a hashtag that you always use and that people can find you, and then you just start, plaster that thing everywhere, every social media.
I'll take that one to heart for sure.
Every social media place. Yeah, you own a hashtag.
Consistency, though, I love that.
You have to be consistent. You have to post consistently. You have to, just how you're showing up, the photos you take that you post. Just pay attention to kind of be strategic about it. But yeah, you don't have to post every day, but come up with some type. So, hey, I always know Dave's going to show up on Mondays and Thursdays on Facebook or something, right? Just set some type of expectation, right? I'm on it daily, so people expect something from me almost every day.
Are you still doing the OOTD?
Yeah, the outfit of the day. I started doing that through...
that was during the pandemic you started
that,
wasn't it?
The pandemic, because, again, people were just not... I was reading so much like, I'm in my yoga pants or sweats and T-shirts, and hey, that's fun for a week. But I just didn't allow myself to do that. So I dressed up every day, just like I was still going to work. I dressed up, started taking outfits of the day, and then it kind of inspired people to kind of dress up. And I enjoyed it, and it was, hey, that's...
Well, you definitely have fun with what you do. There's no doubt about that. But also, branding and imaging, that is a very serious thing. If someone would like to use your services, what should they do?
Well, they can go to my website if they want to do that. And that's imagepowerplay.com.
Put it out there,
yeah, they can go to my website, and there's a connection to all my social media posts there as well. They can reach out to me. I'm on Facebook quite a bit, so I have Image Power Play on Facebook or Sheila Moore Anderson on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. But go to my website. That's probably the easiest.
All right, fantastic. And
then I have a book.
Yes, that's right.
I have a book. They can go to Amazon. So my book is called I See You, The Comprehensive Guide to Breathing Life Back into Your Personal Brand. So the I is for intentional, C is for consistent, and U is for being you. So you can order that on Amazon.
What's the most important thing you've learned in your journey of being an image consultant?
Consistency, right? Consistency and confidence.
Oh, confidence too. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Because there's so many negative things that come out and so forth. But, you really have to remember, first of all, who you're doing, whatever you're doing, who you're doing that for.
Right.
Are you doing it for that person? There are bad customers. We're all under this belief that customer's always right and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, no. But the second of all, you don't have to please everybody.
Right. Know your customers, right? I mean, that's like marketing 101.
Yeah.
Right. To figure out who your customer avatar is and then just speak to that avatar, right? And show up for that avatar. And what are their pain points and what are your solutions for them?
All right. You mentioned earlier that you love country music, but when you go out and about, what do you like to take in for arts and entertainment?
I love live music, but I also enjoy, I love plays. I really enjoy that. So I enjoy my time at the different theaters around town and seeing the different plays. I did some acting in high school.
Okay.
I took some modeling courses where I learned how to do some improv. I'm not good at it, but I appreciate it, right? I appreciate that talent that people have and to make people laugh. So I think that's, I think improv is fun or comedy I enjoy. But a live performance is, my favorite entertainment. And I get chills. Yeah.
All right. And the final question then, any other hobbies that you have?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I still love to decorate, and I don't get paid for it. I just love to do it.
Well, I love the segment when you were on Kelloland Living a few months back where you were setting the table.
Yes, entertaining.
Yes, very good.
Such a
that
lost
was fun.
Art, right?
It is.
Don't home entertaining. Well, of course, we couldn't do that for a while, but now
it's like we got any plastic tubs to put that mix in?
Yeah. So I think a hobby for me is I still love interior design, and I kind of dabble in it. And
good.
Yeah. Enjoy that.
All right. Well, speaking of enjoy, I've enjoyed getting to know you more, Sheila, and look forward to down the road. Seeing some more creativity in things that you've been working on, maybe another book or something?
Yes, I have my outline for my second one started.
The outline's ready.
Yeah, it's
excellent.
done.
We love hearing that. But thank you so much for being on the Dave Holly Hour. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much, and it was just a joy talking to you. I appreciate
Likewise.
the opportunity.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Jesse Moffitt. And I'm not a piano player. I'm a comic magician and hypnotist. I've been performing for over 20 years. I've performed at many events, corporate events, holiday parties, post-prom parties, graduation parties, state and county fairs, festivals, just about anything you can imagine. The funniest thing about the Magic Act is that I use a ton of audience participation, and that can make things really interesting.
Put it down the front of your shirt. Stop being so my hand won't follow.
The best thing about the hypnosis show is that the volunteers and their imaginations really make it a blast.
Holy crap, dude, did you see what you just did? You could do that possibly to girls.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Sioux Falls Stage Awards Special Distinction for promoting the arts. Here is Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everybody. As I always say, it is always a pleasure to bring you arts and entertainment conversations, and looking forward to this one. These two gentlemen are in a band, the Insiders Band. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And one of them I'm meeting for the first time. They're both first-time guests. But one of them is somebody I've known for at least 20 years now. So we've got Ray Pearson. Nice to meet you, Ray.
Nice to meet you. Appreciate it.
And then we have Mr. Darren Matthes. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
20 years. Wow.
I know it. And, the thing is, Tom Brady just came out of retirement. And if I'm not mistaken, one time when I was worship leader and you were a band member, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I said, and also featuring our very own Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The doppelganger
I've
thing.
heard that a few times in the past. Not so much lately. I don't know. Maybe I'm not aging as gracefully as Tom Brady is.
Well, here's the thing that I always tell people. Great for Tom Brady that the man at that age can be that athletic yet. I always tell people when it comes to, athletics are great. Have nothing against them. But if you're in art and entertainment, you can go a lot longer in life with that.
That's right.
You can still play drums at your age. And Ray, what do you play?
I play keyboards and guitar
and
do
guitar.
the vocals.
Yeah, and you've been doing that for more than a year or so.
50 years this year.
50 years this year.
Last week, believe it or not.
Oh wow! Congratulations, man. That's great. Yeah. And we're here to talk about your band, the Insiders. And Darren got here a little early, and we were chit-chatting, catching up. And he was giving me a little bit of insight as to how the Insiders got together. Let's hear your version of this as to how the Insiders came to be.
Well, the Insiders goes back. It's back into probably the range of 1977 time frame. So now we're working on our 8th album. I got together with Darren here in January, and we're pretty excited. He's an amazing drummer. He's got some great ideas for recording, and it just paired up perfectly with a couple other fellows that we have. And I wrote the songs there this fall, and we got together, and we're working at it hard. Should be done in a couple of weeks.
Well, look forward to
Darren
that.
at the helm doing all the recording and mixing and mastering, putting it together for us.
All right, so you brought me a couple of CDs, The Insiders Unwind.
Yeah, that album was probably around the 2009, 2010 frame, and it was recorded various places all over the country, Seattle, out in California, and then Mike Dresch helped us with that album. This last album is probably a couple of years old. That was done entirely over to Mike Dresch's studio, and it was same bass player that's with us, Rick Clavo, and then different drummer and guitar player.
All right.
I did all the guitar and keyboards.
Yeah. What got you into music first?
I had the background in the music in the high school marching band and all that, and I'm just met up some fellows in high school, and we just started playing and doing the weekend dances and went from there. I played in a couple of the local bands that were pretty prominent in the early 70s, and we were inducted in Hall of Fame this year, the Felix Band. Mm-hmm. And from there, that's right after I left Felix, then I started writing music for the Insiders.
Okay. And what's it take to make an album now? Obviously, it's a different approach than because of all the technology that's available to people, on the internet, just in software and so forth, versus, say, the first album you ever recorded.
Well, the first albums we did primarily on an 8-track. Will Prines here was in Sioux Falls here at Creative Communications. We did it on his 8-track, one of his first machines, and then later on went back when he had a 24-track. And that was pretty involved albums. Now, if you've got that talent there that you can work with computers, and Darren does, he's very good at it and got a good ear, and he's taken the software to the limit, very limit. I think you've done a great job with what you have. It's, you can work with Pro Tools, you can work with what system you currently using over there?
Cakewalk,
and he's got pushed it right to the very end and getting some great tones on it and knows what he's doing.
Darren, what's been your most favorite part of working with this guy?
Mainly just hanging out, I guess.
We've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be a common theme for musicians when they get together. It's just like, wow, this is great. Just hanging, jam a little bit and so forth. Talk about lyrics or talk about
friends.
riffs.
All my friends, seems like over the years that I meet with regularly or tend to be musicians just because we have a lot in common. But my favorite part of this particular project, aside from meeting together, and we've been doing it weekly for quite a while, is just hearing the music take shape. My friend Bill Hogan, who introduced me to Ray, also is playing with this on this project, and he brought Ray over, and Ray just kind of plugged in and started laying down these tracks that were complete for the most part, and I think he just has a lot of music in his head and is pretty prolific. And I told him, well, I was going to miss it once we were done with this, but it sounds like he'll probably be cooking up some new tunes if he hasn't already been.
We'll keep it going. We're going to try to get out and do some playing this summer, and talking with some of the various events that are coming up, and I think we'll have a small roster. We're a real small nucleus. We live off of our friends. That's our core of our following, if you want to call it that. We don't get out and play the bars as much. We've played a lot of the various things that have come up. We were, I think, one of the first bands to play Jazz Fest when I was at the Zoo of all places back in '91, and first rock band to play original music right here over at the Orpheum Theater. So we've done a lot of things over the years, and now with Darren coming aboard, we're going to try to keep that going and keep that nucleus of a couple hundred friends and family.
Well, I know, Ray, that you've been in a lot of bands that were cover bands and so forth. How do you describe what you do now with the Insiders?
Well, they're totally original band. For the most part, I think 99% of the music is original stuff that I've wrote. Now, with Bill coming into the band, him and I sat down and wrote a song, and every musician's brought their part. Darren brings his drum tracks too, and he's brought a lot of ideas. He's playing some guitar on the album too. So but we primarily play original rock and roll that's blues influenced. We did do an instrumental jazz album back in '91, and we've had some instrumental jazz influence on some of the other. The Unwind album has some of that on there, and this will be number 8.
Yeah,
we're working on.
Yeah. And so what comes to you first? Does something pop in your head musically, or is it the lyrics that hit you first when you start writing?
I think, I'm primarily a keyboard player, but I do write all the music on, probably 99% of it on acoustic guitar, believe it or not. And I just start working out chords, and from there, the lyrics come together, and that's how it rolls. I've wrote probably maybe a half dozen of the songs, primarily just on keyboards. There is some instrumental things, and that I had that background and sat down and did it that way. But most of the songs come from acoustic guitar and then go into a rock phase, and they're blues influenced.
Darren, when it comes to drumming, is it just a matter of, whatever they decide in terms of a genre that they want to go with? I'll put it down, I'll start hitting the skins?
Yeah, start hitting the skins. I guess it's like a cumulative effect of everything you've run into has some sort of effect on what you play. But I was telling Ray, what's on the recordings right now was so early on, and I was like, I'm going to redo all this stuff later. But then you get some time between you and it, and you can't remember where you messed up anymore, or you thought you messed up,
right?
And you're like, this isn't too bad, and maybe I'll keep some of this stuff. I don't know if I could play it any better now anyway, because it was so fresh and you're just reacting at the time, I think there's some value to that as opposed to calculating everything and over planning. I kind of like the idea of just reacting to it.
Ray, who do you look up to as a great songwriter? What are the inspirations you have?
Well, lately it's been a lot of the Foo Fighters material that's been really. He's really brought a modern day rock and roll feel to it. I liked a lot of the blues artists back then. I was a big Santana fan. Other than my music doesn't have a lot of Santana feel to it, but I enjoyed a lot of that. And I don't know if I really have any one-off songwriters that I followed. Big into the Crosby, Stills, and Nash because I grew up in the 70s. So I enjoyed a lot of the Graham Nash and those guys. And those guys are fabulous songwriters.
You got your Foo Fighters tickets, did you say?
Yes, I do.
Good for you. Fun band. I remember one of the radio stations I worked at in my long string actually played them. So
nice.
That's somebody I'm familiar with finally,
Yeah.
But when it comes to especially writing new rock and roll, then what do you think makes it versus doesn't?
Probably originality, There again, the Foo Fighters stands out. I mean, there's really not a lot of real true rock and roll bands anymore like that. I know we still see Styx out playing and they're putting their albums out, but I don't think we have radio stations that are really catering to that. But that's kind of a tough one.
Yeah,
but,
regrettably,
right.
That's the situation.
Yes.
Yeah. What would you like to see changed that would make that happen?
I'd like to see that's a very good one. These stations that are called classic rock take it to the next level. Take those bands that are still classic rock bands, putting albums out, and maybe give them the opportunity and mix it in with some of the blues and some of the new material. I think those stations need to take it one more level instead of just playing the same songs that they play all the time.
Yeah, controlled by thought groups and so forth.
Yeah.
Darren, what are your thoughts on what it needs to get back to a good rock and roll?
Well, I think you can find that kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't hear a lot of it, like Ray said, on the mainstream, but, searching on YouTube, and I'm always keeping my ear open for people who have their little groups that somehow they found someplace, how many groups are out there that you've never heard of that you'd probably love, but and how do you find them? Get on YouTube and do some random searches and things like that, or just keep your ears open. Getting back to it, it's just originality. Whatever the next Jimi Hendrix comes along, I'm wondering what the next big phase in music will be. That's very original. Obviously, we had Jimi Hendrix, and then we had T-Pain Auto Tune. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't really go like that in that order, but
close.
You have people that are very memorable.
Yeah. Because Ray, I'm with you. I still like to listen to Styx putting things out, and I like when I hear that. My playlist for the most part is probably going to include Styx, the Eagles, maybe a little Boston. There's a little River Band, and things along that line. And I do love it when they come out and play. But in terms of, personally for me, I don't listen to a lot of new music, because I don't even know where to start on it and so forth. But I have found one, St. Paul and the Broken Bones. Have you heard of them?
Oh, I've checked that out.
Yeah. They're kind of a southern rock, southern blues, and so forth out of Alabama. And I like their stuff. And they got some horns in it, too. But they put it out there.
St. Paul?
St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. You Google it, search it on Spotify or Apple or whatever. So, Darren, what got you into music to begin with?
I used to go to the big Spiderbeck Festival in Davenport, Iowa with my parents. I was like in high school, youngest kid in these bars where these awesome Dixieland bands played. Most notably, my favorite was the Black Dog Jazz Band from Kissimmee, Florida. And they were just like a rock and roll band. They were like the Van Halen of Dixieland bands in terms of skill and just the way they got a crowd going. And the drummers always had these awesome solos, and particularly in that band. So, that made me want to play drums.
Did you start with drums then? And then picked up the guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the school system, in my day, they made you take piano before you could take drums.
That was very standard.
I think, Ray, you said you had to do that too? Did you take? No, you didn't take drums.
I have family members that are doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Children and things.
I think you mentioned something about that. Yep.
Had to take piano?
Yeah. Yep. No, started with drums.
And how did it progress from the drums and then going over to playing a little guitar to you being in a variety of bands?
Oh, just like I said, just that was one thing that always connected with other musicians, and I enjoyed that. You know, we all have our hobbies and interests that draw us to other people. I think that's a big thing. That's a big part of it. And then just, I don't know if you can control your passions. You know, it's like I teach guitar and drums and mention to the parents every once in a while, things like that, where it's like, well, you can only do so much as far as getting a student to practice. They're going to have some passion of their own. And how do you can do things to foster that, but I think it's got to come from that person or from, some divine nature or something like that. But I'm not sure, I didn't really choose, what do you choose of your interests? That's the question I'm posing.
And that is your full-time gig now, right? Is
teaching guitar and drums.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for you.
Right.
So let's give you a chance to get a free plug in then. If somebody wants you to instruct their child, or maybe they want instruction themselves.
Yeah.
What do they need to do to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I've had students of all ages. Had a lady a couple summers ago who was 85, and she wanted some instruction on the drums, and she actually introduced me to a lot of funk music. So I created a Spotify funk playlist based on stuff she was telling me that I'd never heard before. It was awesome. Yeah, but they can reach me on the web at darrenmatthes.com. Just type in Darren Matthes drums or whatever on Google.
Yeah, spell out Darren and spell out Matthes.
Yeah, DARRENMATTHES.
Yeah, that's always, things like that, like Baker with 2 Ks. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So, Ray, what was the impetus that hit your head and said, I want to be a musician. I want to write tunes?
Actually, it was a mini course class in Washington High School.
Really?
1971, 72. And, we were already, there was another fellow from here in Sioux Falls, played guitar and sang. And then I went over and I was playing his father's organ and in the front room, and we get together and just play. And they had a mini course at Washington High, and we all went there and sat and listened to musicians talk, and it just kind of, him and I stayed at it, and we played for all the, the high school dances there till we got out of high school. And then actually that first year, right around the college time, I started writing songs, and I was down at the U and met some other local musicians. So I think we stayed at it. At that time, I was playing keyboards, mainly playing. I play the Hammond B3, kind of a rare item.
Right, that is very cool.
Yeah. So I still have my Hammond B3. That's my favorite instrument. I play guitar also.
Do you remember the first song you played in public where you got paid?
Fire and Rain by James Taylor. We played the Brandon High School for their one of their sock hops or something. We played there, and we played various little parties around town here, and just playing songs like that were on the radio.
Darren, how about for you? First time you got paid?
Yeah, it was with the Saints Dixieland Band with my my high school choir teachers. I wasn't in choir, but he got me to play drums with his Dixieland Band, and I got $35. We played in Green, Iowa, and I remember me playing a bossa nova beat to a song. I don't know why but one of the band members looked at the other and said, I didn't know the song was a bossa nova. And that was among the embarrassing various things I learned from that gig. But it was great.
Ray, what's the most fun you've ever had on stage?
I would say, believe it or not, either playing down at Terrace Park. We used to play there every summer quite a bit. Or definitely the Orpheum Theater. We played there in 81 or 82. I rented out the theater and played with a band called M80. John Simpson, his band played and our band played. local guy that used to put together shows, Lynn Peterson. He put together a lot of shows for us and has been very prominent and always helping us try to stay on the original platform. I played in the cover bands on the side, but I always tried to bring it back to the Insiders when I could and get out and play with them.
How many bands you played with throughout your career?
I don't know, probably 20, 25 around here in town. All the local play on the weekends type of thing. There again, I think if I had my choice, I would have liked to stay at playing the original music just to do that. Mm-hmm. There's only been one or two really original bands in this area, and I've always been pretty admired them. The Rich Show and has been at it for years, and also the Zwarte. They did a lot for the Sioux Falls music scene.
Yeah, and what is it that keeps you going?
The friends that I have here, and the folks that enjoy the music that I give out the CDs to, and now meeting Darren and Bill Hogan and Rick Labu that we're playing together here. And I think that's what keeps it going, where we sit down and write the songs. And it's more than just the music, it's the friendship of the getting together and hanging out. I enjoy that a lot.
So when you're not entertaining or creating, what do you like to be entertained by?
Are you talking music or just enjoying life?
Enjoying life.
Oh, I like car racing a lot. Auto
really?
Racing, yeah.
Okay.
I like my car racing.
Like NASCAR or Indy?
I like the old sprint car racing is good.
Okay.
And then I have an old hot rod, street rod, and we get out, my wife and I, and enjoy that. Spend time with my grandkids, my family, and I got 2 big dogs.
What breed?
German Shepherds.
Ah,
yeah.
Excellent choice.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, Darren, how about for you when you're not being part of the entertainment scene?
Yeah.
What do you like?
Hanging out with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm married and have 2 daughters.
How old are they now?
16 and 18.
Wow. I remember their baptisms.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Time does fly. And we have a dog now, Pepper. She is she looks like a black lab, but she's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever and Bulldog.
Mm.
So
quite the combo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So she keeps us busy.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you coming in and talking about the Insiders. And Ray, you said you've got a few things on the docket for the summer then for the band?
Yeah, I think we're going to try to get a few things together and play. We don't have anything down in concrete stone. I was trying to get to that point, but we didn't. But we'll get that, spend some time with our family and try to pull in new family members. It's always fun to... My boys all play music, and I want to try to get out and enjoy some of their things. I think you had my son on there, Mike Pearson, with his band.
Yes, yeah, I did.
And,
that's right.
And then my other son's out in Seattle. Yeah. And I got a daughter that has our grandsons. Both of our grandsons very involved with music. So we're going to be try to bring some of those guys in and play too. Enjoy it.
Right. And then if somebody wants to hire the Insiders, what should they do?
Well, you can always get a hold of us. I have a Insiders Band Facebook. You can do Facebook through there, and then contact us through that and see if we can play. And I have we have our it's Studio Cat with a K99 at Yahoo at Gmail if you want to send us an email. And like I said, if we have something open, we sure come play.
All right.
I always like to play some type of event, fundraisers. That type of thing.
Well, looking forward to going out and see you guys live sometime this summer as well. Darren Matthes, great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, Dave.
And Ray Pearson, a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for getting in contact with me to let me know about the Insiders so that we can get you on the show and talk about it. So thank you both for coming in and being on the Dave Holly Hour.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XL Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xlchiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XL Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
Thanks again for listening. Certainly do appreciate it. Thank you to my great guests Sheila Anderson, what a beautiful person she is. Just a blast to talk with. We could have gone on for hours. And also Ray Pearson. Man, that man can write some songs. And Darren Matthes. Enjoy playing drums. He's been doing it for a long time. Glad that he's now making a living by teaching drums and guitar. And, of course, to the man that put the R in our wine bar, Riccardo Terabelsi. Yes, make your way down to our wine bar. They always have great things going on there, including lots of live jazz. And as well, that's where we record, about 95% of our shows now. We get those conversations on Monday afternoons. It's a little quieter time, but still, guess what? I have a couple of glasses of Merlot along with it. All right, the calendar for moi, I kind of pass that along at the end of the show typically. Tonight, Midtown Coffee Radio Hour live recording, again, 7 p.m., Augustana University. I almost said college there. Augustana University Commons, the Morrison Commons, and then in that, on that main level, is the back alley. Former bowling alley, actually. Wow. In fact, I think my wife learned how to bowl there when she went to Augie for a while. But otherwise, it's been a bit of a busy week here in the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the Big D Entertainment, so going to be doing some resting the rest of the weekend. I don't know how long that'll last, because I'm sure that you will find us, being me, my wife, and our cohorts, that we'll find something to go to along the way. And you do the same. As a sticker for Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by the Sky Lounge and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, and Jesse Moppet Entertainment. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, go to DaveHollyHour.com. At the bottom of the front page is the additional links section. Click on the orange button, Dave Holly on Linktree. You can order merchandise, become a Dave Holly Hour VIP, and make contributions to the show. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.